Test. Okay. All right, guys. Can I have your attention? We would start slowly with the bootcamp. So feel free to sit down somewhere, open your laptops, connect to your monitors. Thank you, Carlo. So yeah, welcome to today's bootcamp. It will be everything about like hands-on coding, how to get from the start. Like if you don't have any knowledge about Solana or web development, we will get to know how to create your first contract, how to deploy it, and how to have like a running website. So at first, it will be kind of boring to install all the dependencies, but these are like steps that we have to go through. So at first, I would advise you to go to this website that is anchor-lang.com/docs installation. So I give you some time to direct to this because we will go through how to install all the dependencies needed for basic Rust development and what you need. So within this workshop, we will install Rust. So let's check for the version. And can you make the font size bigger? Yeah, sure. For it. Sorry? Yeah, sure. So yeah, this will be like the first link to install everything. So once you have this, you will be ready to go from there. Should be on YouTube now. And also for the YouTube audience, you can also just drop your comments there. We will answer them as we go. So maybe first of all, who of you have ever developed anything? Just to know the audience. Everyone? Okay, who has ever developed something on the web? All right, that's good. And who has ever developed something on Solana, like a basic smart contract? Okay, a few less people, that's good. So the only thing you need is like basic coding knowledge, if not even. So it will be like very easy for you to follow along, hopefully. And yeah, if you go on this website, then you will see directly here on the top, like the Mac and Linux installation, which is like very easy. And then there is like the installation for Windows. So who of you has a Linux or Mac device? Is here anybody with a Windows device? Okay, then those with a Windows device would have to install a bit more. But for those of you who have a Mac device, if you are on the website, you can just download this link, and it will install all the dependencies needed. So Rust, Solana CLI, Anchor, Node, and Yarn in this case. So try to install this. There might be some problems, but for the Mac users, if you try to run this code and you see after the whole installation some output like this, then you're ready to go. But we will also install everything from scratch for Windows users or people who have problems with their Mac, which might occur quite often. So can you read this right now from the back, or should I make it even bigger? Probably. Right. All right, then at first, let's install Rust. Like Rust will be needed for our scaffold that we will install today. It's like the programming language we use on Solana. So if you navigate to this part, try to run this code in your command line. I will do it with you to see how it might look like. These are like global dependencies, so you can just open up a terminal and run it wherever you want to. It doesn't have to be like in a specific directory in this case. So let's run it. In my case, I already have it installed, so it might be very simple and fast for me, but it might take quite longer for you in this case. So is there anybody here who already has Rust installed? For someone, it's the first time installing Rust? Okay, all right. Yeah, I will give you some time. This might take a while. So just like give a hands up if you have installed it and if you see like a positive command output. Maybe some remarks. We won't. Yeah, I shared the link in the YouTube channel. Like if you navigate to YouTube and then Solana Super Team Germany, you will see the live stream. And there in the command line or in the chat, you should see the docs here. Or just search directly into Anchor Lang docs installation, and then you will get the page. And it's just like there's only one page you need right now, and you will install all the dependencies from there. Maybe from the audience who already has Rust, which version are you seeing when you type it in the command line? 1.86. Okay, that's the same that I have. So it's like the most up to date, I'd say. And for the ones installing it first time, how is your process going? Is it still installing for you? Okay. You can open up any terminal you like. It just needs to be installed on your device. Is this needed for Windows? Well, it's you have the subsystem for Linux. Ah, I see. Okay, but you already have Rust or not? Ah, I see. Yeah, I haven't looked into the subsystem for Linux because it's like very rare that people have it. But but yeah, if you can follow along and see if you get the same thing, we will wait for everybody to have it installed. So no worries about this. Yeah, sure. You can use Cursor. Like Cursor is basically what VS Code is, but with the AI on top of it. So yeah, that works. You can use any IDE you like. There are no restrictions here. Maybe while the installation is running, does all of you have an IDE that you can use for the coding? Or do we have to install it as well? Like VS Code or Cursor? You all have it? Okay, great. And have you used GitHub before? Because we also use it for deploying the code. All right, that's good. Then we can skip some of the points. How was the Rust downloading for you guys? Yeah, a question? What's the question? All right. Are you downloading Rust right now, or do you have it? It's already done? You can check by running rustc /-- version to check for your version. to finally see if it's installed. So do you see some sort of similar output? Still running, okay. Yeah, Rust should be the biggest library to install, all the languages. Afterwards, it should be faster. Do you maybe have any questions in the meantime? Maybe some basic questions or what you would like to see during this workshop?
Like an overview, the agenda, what we do, we install Rust again, and then
So we will install all the dependencies, and then we will install the scaffold from Solana, which is like a basic app with a front-end interface already finished, and a smart contract, which is in Rust. Then we will go through how you can interact with the Solana blockchain. We will use the DevNet, we will get your wallet set up, we will get some basic funding, and then we will deploy the smart contract. And afterwards, we will interact with the app, see what you can do with the scaffold, how you can use it yourself, personalize it, then also deploy first on GitHub to show you how the usual implementation is or how the workflow of a developer would look like. And we will connect it to Vercel, which is the company behind Node.js, and then we will deploy it on Vercel as well. So if you have your own app, you can show it to your friends because it will be online and able to view. And yeah, then we will just go on from there and ask some questions, maybe go on through what you would like to see. And that's it for the first workshop. Then we will have like a break. And after the break, we will go into NFTs. So Leo from Metaplex, who you saw yesterday, will walk you through how to interact with NFTs, maybe create them. And then Björn will go through alerts, how to create alerts or messaging on-chain. So at first basics and then more advanced stuff later on. If you have installed it, then you can always check with Rust C-version. And if you see a similar output as it is on the screen, then you're good to go. And it's really helpful to go along with all the steps we do today, because I heard from Björn, he will work on top of what we've built now. So yeah, getting all the basics, the scaffold online will be very helpful for you. So you have it downloaded now? How about you guys in the back? Is it still downloading? Almost done, okay. All right. Yeah, let's check how the connection here is. Yeah, it should be pretty fine. Like that's a good bandwidth.
I somehow couldn't connect to the Wi-Fi and I connected to my phone and therefore. But now
you don't have the Wi-Fi?
No, now I don't.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi should be way faster.
Yeah.
And then it should be easier. Yeah, you can already go ahead as long as other people wait, but probably will have to also tell it again. You can go along. Have you ever installed Solana CLI before? Or is it also the first time for you? First time, okay. Yeah, then you can go ahead and run the following commands, and if you have any problems, then I will get back to you. The stable one would be the best, yeah. Same with Node. If we will install Node, the long-term support version would be the best to have. It didn't work? Okay. I can look into it later. Have you already installed it?
I tried in terminal.
Yeah.
And I got this far, and then it came up with the.
Okay. Maybe if you go down to the latest one from the installation, probably like there's also one command. Failed compile. So it's just after the, you didn't put anything else after the download?
No, because
Cargo tiger direct to the path. Maybe if you try, so there is this one command. If you try this command, this will, if that doesn't work, then I will look into it later. All right, so we have new Rust installations that worked, at least. Then we can continue to downloading the Solana CLI. And the Solana CLI, after this one is downloaded, I will show you some commands and basics, how you can interact with it. But if you just scroll down on the website, it will be enough to just download the first line. It's from Ansa. So Ansa is like the new Solana Labs. They took over, or like there was a transition from Solana Labs to Ansa, and they are taking over for the whole documentation. Yeah.
because I'm using Windows.
Yeah.
And it's telling me I don't know if it have to make some changes to my.
You're downloading the Windows subsystem for Linux, but you don't have to, right? I don't think you have to for Windows. Let's see. Do you need the subsystem Linux? Okay. Yeah. Then have you accepted the terms?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Then I accept.
Yeah, and yeah, accept, and then run the following commands as on the website. Yes. Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So first it will be like the Linux subsystem,
Okay,
and then we need to install Rust.
okay.
Oh yeah, now I see. Okay, so for the guys that have already installed Rust, do you have the Solana CLI as well? Okay, so yeah, in the meantime, maybe we can also start the installation of Anchor, because this will also take some time. So head over to the installation Anchor CLI, and in the meantime, I will show you some commands. So if you run this code and open up a new terminal for the Solana commands, I can already guide you through what you can do with Solana. Yeah, you can do it in the meantime, like in the background, and then I will go through basic commands. Oh yes, yes, AVM. AVM is the Anchor version manager. So like right now, it wouldn't be that necessary for you to have like some special version, but if you're getting advanced, you might want to use different versions. So right now, AVM is still like in beta, but let's see what the Anchor version is. Yeah, the Anchor version is still like similar to the AVM one. But once you have Solana installed, what you can do is first get like the basics configs that you need to interact with Solana programs or Anchor programs in that case. It's Solana config get, and we can talk through what this thing is about. So naturally, if you install Solana, there will already be a path direction that will be created for you with the config files. So this is the first, only the file path. Then the RPC URL. What you see here is the DevNet URL that we will be interacting with today, but you can also change it to mainnet or localnet or testnet as well. And the difference between like DevNet and testnet is basically that DevNet is more for developers to test your application, and the testnet is for like infrastructure programmers who need like very often network resets to interact with the Solana ecosystem or like the Solana hardware itself. But for developers, for what we do today, we will use DevNet exclusively. And how to set it is type in the command line Solana config set, and then the URL will be DevNet. So DevNet is predefined here. What it basically means is inside the DevNet, it's just https apy.devnet.solana.com. So if, yeah, I wrote there. It should be set. Yeah, and then you will see again what the configs are. And we have here the RPC URL is the API DevNet. Setting it up right now is also very helpful because afterwards we won't get confused to not get problems in the future throughout this workshop. Now the WebSockets, we don't have to look into this right now. It's computed from the API. Now what would be interesting for us is the keeper path. Is it already set for you, for the guys who installed Solana the first time? Because sometimes we will have to set it manually. The keeper path is predefined? Okay, good.
In case it's not set, what does it say there?
I'm not sure what it says there, but we can set it together as well. So for setting it up, it would be Solana config set and then key pair. Then we will have to go through the dash.config. This will be from our config file here, as we see. It's the user, then my name, and then the config Solana CLI file. But for this, we go through config Solana and then id.json. So what is written there is your private key that you can compute also your public key with. Now I already run it, so this won't change anything. But if you do not have a wallet already, we can create one for you. So for creating your first wallet on your machine, where the private key will be written in this config file that we just had, you just have to type Solana keygen and then new. What it does is it creates a key pair for you. The private key will be stored there. Let's do it in my case. Since I already have a key, it asks me again if I really want to overwrite my current key, which I would have to flag with the force flag. But since I have a key, I won't do it. And to check if you have a key already there, you can hit Solana address, as far as I think. Yeah, Solana address, and you will see your public key. This is the key that everybody is able to see, and the private key you should not share with anyone, which is in the ID JSON file. Oh yeah. You can already start with Anchor installation.
Okay, we didn't do it at the beginning.
Oh yeah, no, I meant maybe, yeah, you can install it right now in the background. And in the meantime, I wanted to explain to you how Solana CLI works. So yeah, please do install Anchor first. It will be needed.
For the Linux, the WSL, it says again install latest. Latest is
It's
not a bad version.
Oh yeah, this might happen then if you could set it to the version I have. Let's check it out. AVM. It's 0.30.1. If you can set it to this one.
What was that again?
0.30.1. So this is the stable version that I'm using.
I'm using
31 but is it working for you? Yeah, then you can also use any stable version. For me, it's 30.1, but that works. So how many of you get an address if you write Solana address in the command line? Do you all have a wallet? You created one? Okay, yeah, I can go through it again, how to do it. So have you, if you go on Solana config get, do you see the config file? Have? Okay, great. So once you have the address, what you can do with the Solana CLI, you can airdrop tokens to your wallet, which will be needed for interacting with smart contracts, deploying them, paying the rent for it, and so on. You can do it through the command line. I do not recommend it because there are like restrictions on IP addresses, so it won't be able for everybody to get Solana in this case. What you could do is go to the web and go for Solana airdrop. And then there is a faucet, faucet.solana.com. I will share it with YouTube as well. Now, if you go there, there's dev and testnet. What we want to use today is the devnet. Let me make it bigger. Then you have the wallet here. Copy your public address and paste it. Just take an amount. I wouldn't go too much if they would like restrict our IP addresses here. So maybe for 2.5 SOL, that should be fine. It would cost around 1 SOL to deploy the contract, so 2.5 will be fine for today. Then verify that we are human. Yeah, you can use GitHub for like enhanced airdrops, but I think if you don't connect your GitHub, you can still get enough Solana for it to work. And I already got a success message. To check if that works is to go to the CLI again, check for Solana balance. And for me, it's 79 SOL. So I have enough SOL. If you would have problems by getting the airdrop, I can also airdrop to you later on. But it's still DevNet, so it's worth not much, unfortunately. So do you all see a balance if you type the command Solana balance? You don't have?
I'm still installing Anchor.
You don't need Anchor for this. You just need the Solana CLI. Zero? Yeah, if you don't have Sol, go to this faucet.solana.com. And there you can copy paste your public key that you get from the command line. So did it work for you? The faucets, if it's not working for you, but you have an address, I can airdrop it to you. So just message me privately and I can create one. The stream link? If you go, yeah. It's either we are streaming on X and on YouTube, superteam.de. You can look everything up there. Sorry? Yes, yes. If you cannot catch up or have like errors that we cannot fix right now, then you can go on our YouTube channel, and there it's all streamed right now. But later on, it will be saved, and you can watch it at home as well. Yes. So let's go on. Yes. Okay, let's go through that. Yes. Okay, yeah, I thought so. So just message me on Telegram. I can send it to you. So if you don't have an address, the command for this is Solana keygen, and then new. Yes. And what happens if you press that? Do you see something there? Or maybe you would have to override. So yeah, sometimes you would need to do the same thing, but with a / less force to. Okay. Yeah, then the passphrase is maybe for your local machine, then just for you to unlock it. Because these are like security specific things. If I would go ahead and run this command, then my older wallet, if I haven't backed it up, would be erased or like not accessible for me anymore, and all the 79 Solana that I have would be gone. So I won't do that in this case. Okay. Okay, great. So for those of you who don't have it, I will just directly send it to you. Solana. Next. I will send you 2 Solana, that should be enough. And then let me know if it works. What you can do is, I currently imported it to my wallet. I also advise you to do it. I can also show you later if we are at that step. But for now, to check it, just go Solana and then balance. Then you will see, hopefully, your Solana address with new funds. Okay. Yeah, it might take some time. My Telegram is Mike Pavel. So it's like this. Mm-hmm. So for DevNet, it would be Solana config set. Yeah. Okay. In one minute, I will look into it.
One of them is not really relevant. If anyone can spare one solo of that.
Yeah. Just DM me on Telegram. I will forward you some so. Okay. So for the setting would be set URL and then DevNet.
And what's your address? I have my Solana address, but I can't get airdrops. It says I need to log into
Okay. Yeah. Then or you just. Yeah, then message me on Telegram. Just send me your public key, not private, and I will send it to you. So
Solana address? Yeah. You don't share your private key.
yeah, no, yeah, don't share your private key. The private key you can use to import it in your wallet, but what I need is only the public key.
Yeah, you're right, but when I type in Solana address, it gives me my public key.
Yes, yes.
How do I access my private key?
If you want to access it,
See here, you see that Solana config, yes.
yeah.
So you got a ID here. So it's technically your
This is the path. You can on your laptop go to that path. So for you it would be something else, but users, and then config Solana ID, and it's like an array of numbers, which compiles down to like base 58. Yes, I only need a public key to send stuff. Yes, or just message me directly on Mike Pavel. It's Mike Pavel, so P-A-W-E-L. What's the goal of the session? Is it in this building a DApp with TypeScript plus smart contract and Rust? Yes, exactly. So what we will be doing here is using a predefined scaffold from Solana that already has a front-end interface and a smart contract in Rust. And I will just show you how you can download it, deploy it, work with the smart contract, and so on. Okay. With VPN? Yeah, because then it's like a different IP address, and yeah, the Solana guys are tracking. If too many people in one building do it, it doesn't work. But I have enough so that shouldn't be a problem. Okay, so I think that should be the last airdrop. Let me know if everybody of you now has some Sol in their wallet. Pavel. You got nothing? I think I sent it to you just recently, so just wait a bit and then it should be there. Oh no, there's another one. Wait. Okay. I'm getting poorer and poorer. Right now, I have 69 souls. Okay. You also need the airdrop? I can also forward it to you. Also for the guys who already have, or like have nothing to do right now, do you have the installation for AVM, for Anchor, version manager and Anchor? It worked? Okay, great, nice. So for those of you who don't know what Anchor is and why we use it, it's basically like a framework for Solana development. There are some abstractions that you don't have in basic Rust development on Solana, and it just helps like for developers for security reasons and also for handling. It's nicer. That's why we use it. Let me do the last airdrop. And if you have this one done, then you can scroll down to, what do we need? Yeah, Node.js and Yarn.
Do we need it?
We don't need both. I personally use Node, but I also have Yarn. So you can just decide. I would suggest to just do Node, and the Node installation you can either through this command line, which will install you the NVM. It's very helpful. I personally use it as well for web development. If you need some different versions, then it's very helpful. If you have like legacy codes, you might need a lower Node version. So you go ahead with this NVM installation. This will, so also not only for Solana development, but web development, it's very helpful. If I now go for my Node version, I see I have version 22. But if I have code that's like pretty old and does not support the oldest version, then I should change it with nvm use and then 21. Now if I go to my Node version, you see I switch it directly. For me, it was probably that fast because I already installed both of those or have like older versions. But you can also just use the latest. NVM use. Oh yeah, let's just use the 22. But probably most of you, for especially the web developers who are here, or like people who developed something on the web before, should have Node, which is like the basic for JavaScript, TypeScript, and NPM stuff, the Node package manager. So I hope this should be running. Does anybody of you have to install NVM so far? Or updating, okay. Okay, sure. So in the meantime, maybe we can go through some facts about Solana and like the changes from Ethereum to Solana. Does any of you come from Ethereum and transitioned to Solana or is now? Okay, nice. So in Ethereum we have the base 16 encoding, which is hexadecimal. This is how like you have from 0 to 9 and then A to F. And in Solana there's like base 58, and which is basically like an encoding where you have 58 characters possible in 1 byte, or like in I think in Solana it's more than 1 byte actually, but the encoding is differently, so you can have way more characters in one place or in one placeholder. What this means is that we have longer key length. So in Ethereum it's 160 bits, and in Solana it's 256. So you have like a way longer place storage where you can like the place where you how many key pairs you can have on Solana. And what it means is that you can basically create also key pairs like, let me show you which I have. So mine starts with Mike, which I specifically mine for. You can also mine it yourself if you would want to. There's a command to that gives you this opportunity. And if you're interested in like creating your own key pair, just like with the first basic different characters, then I can also show it to you later. But this wouldn't be technically possible with Ethereum since N is without like outside the space of base 16 encoding. So yeah, just a fun fact for that Solana is kind of different in this regard.
Why wouldn't you let it run until, I mean, it's taking a very long time.
Yep.
But couldn't you just let it run in the background process and pick like your full name?
That's the thing about how the encryption is working. So what happens in the background is Solana takes access, or like the CLI takes access of your cores on the CPU. And if you would like to just have the first character, then it would have to go 58 possibilities, because like it's just probabilistic. You just input something and you get an output, and it searches for the output. In this case, if I want my key to have a capital letter M, then it would need to go at maximum 58 times, because at some point it will be, or like maybe more. No, it has exactly like maximum 58 tries, because at some point you will get the capital M. Now the thing is, you have to have 58 tries, and then if I want to make another try to have the I at the second place, it's not just 58 plus 58, but it's 58 times that. So the calculating gets increasingly harder. Now, if we go here, then it's 58 to the power of 3, which let's check this one out, how much it would take. So you have to compute 195,000 different key pairs in order to just get 3 letters that you want to. Now, if you want 1 letter more, then it's already in the millions. And now let's say you want 6, which is like a short name, then it's like thousands, millions, 380 billion tries, which for my computer, it would run way too long. What I can do is probably like, I think 1 million tries each 5 seconds. So this one would already be over the regular computation time. But how you can create it, I can show it to you later, just for a fun fact. That if you would like to have a personalized key, as I have it here, mine starts, you can see it here. Wait. Oh yeah, I have a mic wallet, and then I also have a pay wallet. So pay is also fairly simple for the machine to run. If you want a pay wallet, then I can show it to you later. But yeah, in the meantime, how is the Node installation going? Do you all have Node, Anchor, Rust, everything there? Okay, great. So what's left? We also need cargo. Should be, oh no, the cargo should be probably also installed with Anchor as far as I know. So let's clear this one out. You can check for it by running cargo -- version. Hopefully you should see a version there. Does it work for you? Okay. All right, nice. So now that we have all the annoying stuff done by installing everything, we can get into the fun part, basically. So, sorry?
Validators. Do we need the validators for Solana? It says run local validators.
Oh, no. We won't use local validators. It's if you want to run your own network or like a copy of a network, sort of, then you can use it, but it's simpler for today to just use the DevNet that's already online. And this one we will use because I also airdropped you the Solana for this purpose. And then we won't be using the local net. Now open your favorite IDE, which in my case would be Cursor, but you can use Node, not Node, but VS Code or other IDEs that you want. And let's just create a very blank template here. Oh. So I will create a new one. Open project. Coding Solana. And then I call it super team. Why not? So I advise you to already have like a new terminal inside. You don't have to, obviously. You can just use the terminal that you use for installation and do everything through here, but it's just, in my opinion, easier to interact with if you have it already in your IDE. Let's make it bigger as well. Now, what we can finally do is start with the installation of the scaffold. So let me share the link, actually. It's from the Solana official website. You can access it through YouTube, but if you cannot access it, it's also not that hard to copy it from here. So what I would do is run npx, then create Solana Dev and the latest version. Okay, before I move on, just give me some feedback if you see the same command output as I do to enter my project name, because if that works, then we already are pretty far. Yeah. Yeah? Okay, great. If you have errors, then let me know. Yeah? Did it work? Oh yeah, I can also make it bigger. So it's npx creates Solana Dev at latest. So do you see the similar or like the same outputs as I do with entering the project? Yeah. All right, great. Then we can start by naming our project. Let's call it Super Team and 101. Why not? You can name it as you like. And for this purpose, we will use, you can use Node.js, React with Vite. I personally use React for my very first development, but maybe like a just quick note on the difference between Next.js and React. So React is, Next.js is server-sided and React is client-sided, which means that all the code that you have and will deploy on your server will be run on the client, which is the user. Now, if you have APIs, like some API keys that you do not want to share with the public, using just plain React wouldn't be optimal for you because then you would leak your keys because everything would have to run through the device of your users. Now in Next.js, since this is server-sided, all the requests and API calls that you do would have first to go through the backend or the server, and then the user would only forward data without interacting with the API itself, which we will use in this case. And since it's from Vercel, we can also deploy it easily through Vercel itself. So let's pick Next.js. And we have different options. We have the regular Next.js with no anchor, which we don't want to use because we just installed it and want to interact with a smart contract. We have a basic example, but today let's pick the counter one. It's already a predefined Rust smart contract with some interaction opportunities. There will be a counter. You can count up or down and change the value. So let's run this code. It will install all the templates and the boilerplate for the code itself. And this might run for some time. Do we have some questions in the meantime? Maybe some Next.js or Node, Next.js or React-related thing. If you've already coded on React, maybe one thing that Solana, not Solana, but Next.js is using React. So if you never used Next.js before, but React, the transition won't be that hard because they have a similar interface and coding structure. Now my installation is successfully done.
Can you also install all libraries that you can use in React?
Yes, it's the same framework. So Next.js is basically React with the thing that you can have server-side operations done. From security's perspective, it's very nice. All right, so for me, it's installed. What I now have to do is change my directory to the file that I created, which is superteam-101. Now this is important. We want to not be in the blank folder, but inside the folder where our application is. So make sure to change to this directory. And since we installed the boilerplate and we have Node, we first have to install all the packages that we get from the scaffold. So run npm e, which stands for install. And yeah, we see it's installed, but with some high-end critical errors. We can skip that as long as it compiles. It's fine. That's how we do it as devs, right? And for me, it's compiled down, so everything works. Now, is everybody at this point so far? Nice, great. Happy to hear that. So are we all on the same page, or do you need some? Are you there? Do you have it? Okay, nice. Yeah. What's the issue? So which part didn't work for you? Okay. The npmi. Yeah. It might take some time to first install the packages, so we can wait for you as well. No worries. Okay, nice. So are we all on the same page? We installed the dependencies. We have an error, but the same as I have, or some critical error.
No, I did exactly where you were.
Yeah.
I went to the next tailwind counter, clone template, installing, and then the error comes up.
So it didn't install for you?
Error installing dependency.
And is there are there more errors? I see.
Mine failed.
Yeah, then maybe I would have to go back to you if it's, or yeah, maybe the simplest thing to do is if you did everything in one terminal, you might just kill the terminal and then refresh it, because sometimes that's the case. Sometimes if you install all the hardware heavy stuff like Rust and Solana Anchor and so on, you might have to reload your machine. So it might be helpful to turn it off, turn it on again. It's the best programmer trick. Yeah. So yeah, basically studied computer science, and it's still the best thing I can tell you. And let me know if it works afterwards. You have done this. So also for the online audience, if you install everything correctly, but you still cannot download this part, then try to restart your machine. Are there any questions so far? So yeah, a question: who maintains, creates Solana Dev? As far as I know, it's the Solana Foundation, or this the Solana Labs. Who was it again? Was it? I'm not sure, but I mean it's someone from Solana for sure. Can you tell the difference between Next.js and React? I hope I explained it, but let me know if you want to hear it again. Basically, in short term, Next.js is React, but with server-side application. So you can run code that only would have to be run on the server side, which is used for APIs in this case. It's just a security mechanism on top. Okay, you already explained it there. And it's a client and server side boundaries of routing, etc. React strictly. Well, I mean, you can. It's not strictly UI library. In React, you can do basically everything you can do on Next.js, but it's just client side. So everything will be run on the machine of the user. Yeah, the backend stuff, so Next.js is not purely backend. So if you think about backend, you might have some databases. This won't be handled by Next.js. You still need like a backend infrastructure like MongoDB or some sorts. But what it does for you is that you can use APIs. So it's just API calls that are run through Next.js. So it's not the full framework with the backend in that sense. All right, let me change this one. Okay, well, we are not in the installation, so what can we show here? Okay, nice. I hope that clears it out. Okay, now let's continue with the code itself. So we have it downloaded, it's on our machine, it's compiled, so we can now run it. The first command that we can use is npm run dev. This will open up a local environment. For me, it's localhost 3001. Usually it's 3000, but apparently I have some other code running, so it just iterates up. And I can follow the link. And now we can see what we have downloaded. Yeah, you will be greeted by this DM. And it's already sort of full-fledged front-end interface. In Next.js, we have the wallet connectivity. Let me show you how that works. So it's just a basic wallet connect in the top right corner. You can either connect with Phantom or Backpack. So just use any wallet that you like. I will get into that later as well. But here in the first page, we see some useful docs. We have this faucet that we saw. So if you click there, you will be directed to the same thing as I showed to you later. So we have the wallets, we have the funds, we have the front end. Now, there are some useful links. You can look through them later if you like. Also, the cookbook is very nice if you want to just learn about Solana and text that they have. But yeah, let's go through the other pages. We have the accounts page. Okay, we have to connect our wallet first. So let's maybe do that first. Who of you has a wallet already? Like a Solana wallet you can use, a Chrome extension? Okay, great. Who does not have a wallet? That's maybe more important. Okay, we have quite many people who don't have a wallet. So let's create this step together. You can use Phantom, which is like mostly used, like widely used, but for the developers' perspective and how to easier integrate it, I would recommend to you Backpack because they have stuff like the Sonic SVM, which is a layer 2 solution for Solana. If you want to use that, then it will be easier to interact with through the Backpack. So let's just do that. Head over to Google, Chrome, or like whatever browser you use, and install the Backpack wallet extension. And in my case, I'm using Chrome. I already have it installed, but you can just add it to your browser, to your Chrome browser, or any other services. I hope it supports also other browsers that you have. If you have other browsers where Backpack is not supported, then go ahead and use Phantom Wallet and also the extension, because this will make it easier for you to develop. In my case, I have both, but you can choose whichever you like. The workflow for what we need today is similar, so Phantom will be enough. Backpack is also nice to have. Now, what I hope that should happen is when you install it the first time is that you have either the opportunity to create a new wallet or import one that you have. Now, the importing one will be the interesting part for us because we just created a wallet earlier in the day and we already have funds, so we want to import our private key to this wallet. Now, again, let's recap what we have to do for that. Let's go into the terminal and hit Solana config get. Now, we have this directory, which in my case is config solana id.json. Now, if you could go through your personal directory, I won't do it right now because it's my private key and I don't want to leak it to you. But on your local machine, go to the config directly then Solana and id.json. Now there should be an array with numbers, which will be your private key. So let me know if you found this one, because we will need this one to import it to our wallets. Did you find your ID, your private key? Yeah. Okay. And did it work for you to download Backpack or any other wallets? Okay, then there should be an option to add an account. I agree with the terms. Not needed. Yeah, you can just skip the part. I don't need the referrals. And then let's hit the button that I already have a wallet, a Solana wallet, and I have the private key. So let's go through this again. We want to hit that we have a wallet. Then from the two networks, we want to go to Solana. And what we have on our files, the id.json file, is a private key. So let's go on the private key tab and copy the array that you have from the files, the id.json, and import it here. Then you should be able to import this key and see your new wallet on your Backpack wallet. Let me know if it works or does not work for you. So for who did it work?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Before that, there was this GM website on the local server.
Yes?
How did you access this website or this wallet?
Oh yeah. So the question was, how did I access this local host, which is the shows GM? So what we have done before is we have cloned the repository. If you run npx create Solana Dev at latest, can you see the code from there? Yeah. Okay. If you go through that and hit your name, then we chose Next.js. We use the tailwind counter, then direct to this repository, install the dependencies, and once everything is done, hit npm-e for the installation process, and then npm run dev. Now, if you go there will be a local link which directs you to localhost, and then you see it, right? Okay, great. So this is where we got. For who did it not work to import the wallet on Backpack? Does everybody of you now see the Backpack interface with your own wallet? Okay, to the DevNet. So if you have the extension, you can largen it up. So if you see it on the screen, it's a top right to swap it to the right side, just for demonstration purpose. But what you can do then is here, through next to your imported wallet, there should be a Solana icon. So if you click on this small Solana icon, maybe I can make it bigger. I cannot, all right. Then there is a small Solana icon. If you hit that, there is Solana Sonic in my case, probably I imported already. Then there's Solana DevNet and Sonic Frontier, but for you, it'll probably just be the Solana DevNet. If you cannot see it there, then if you go to the Add Networks tab, there should be an option for you to scroll down and then just check mark the testnet, the Solana DevNet.
I only see Solana. I also have the...
So if you go to the Add Network, also only Solana?
Yeah, I went to select the network.
Then it might be, let's go through settings. See connections. So what happens if you go to the account and then go to settings? The top left on the A1 and go to settings. Do you see the Solana DevNet there?
No, I just Solana.
I see. Confirmation, it's not there.
I see there's a developer mode.
Yeah, maybe you would have to turn the developer on. Yeah, it's also similar for the ones that you have if you have Phantom. There's also a developer's mode there. You might activate it. I don't see it right now because probably I have already turned it on. But then hopefully you should see the Solana DevNet. Okay, nice, great.
Get the key, private key.
Yeah.
You just need to go to config Solana and then read the JSON file. I need that JSON.
Yes.
And that's it's an array of numbers.
Yes. So you see that, right?
I see that array is long.
Yep.
Do we copy the array or the concept of that?
The whole array. And then the whole array, you can take it to Backpack. And here, go to, wait, where is it? The top left, add an account, and go through the steps where you import your Solana key. Now, hopefully, now you should be able to see the DevNet. And can you see your wallet with your balance as well? Hopefully, there should be like 2 Solana for the ones where I airdropped you. And for the other person, sorry?
It's not visible to Solana yet.
But are you on the DevNet or the mainnet from Solana? So the problem might be if you...
The DevNet is not visible as well.
So if the DevNet is not visible, then you should go to settings. And there should be some settings to open.
Probably in the slot of
Ah, yeah, there it is. Okay, now I found it. So if you go to the top left, go to settings, then preferences, then there is this one tick you have to do, which is the developers mode. If you tick that, you should be able to see the networks now. Then if you go back, okay, cool. And then if you go back to your Backpack front end, you can tick the Solana DevNet. And then you should be connected to the Solana DevNet. Then let me know if you see the Solana updated. There should be your wallet with Solana and then some amount of Sol there. Can all of you see that? Do you have a working Sol wallet now? Nice. All right. So now what we can do is, now we can finally connect to our wallets. So go back to your local host. Let me close this one here. Yeah, what's the issue? Okay, yeah, settings, preferences. Yes.
That's it?
That's it. So that's it to enable the function to show you test nets. And what we want is the developer's net. So if you go back, then go to developer net, Solana DevNet, click that, you will be connected to the DevNet. So it's here, the green Solana. And now you should be able to see this one. Do you see it? Okay. Okay, perfect. Now the next steps would be to connect the wallet that you created to the front end. So we have the local host that we created, the scaffold. Now click select wallet. What the people who only have the Backpack wallet should see is just the Backpack connect button. And if you click there, you will be asked if you really want to connect to this. We will approve it. You can trust, hopefully, your the codes that you have on your local device. So just connect to that. And you should see your wallet address public key in the top right corner. What we can do now, didn't work? Okay, so if you have also the problem that you open up the local host, but you don't see your wallet, in that case, let's kill this interface. Let's close it here in our terminal with Control-C or whatever you use for killing commands, and then run it again. It's also a common problem that I have, so don't worry, it's usual. It happens all the time. But once we refresh it, go back to the local host, it should detect it. Select wallet, and then you should be able to see the backpack extension again. Okay, great. Okay, yeah. Yeah, refreshing, always the best computer science way to do stuff. So yeah, now you should be able to connect with your wallet. And let's see what the scaffold gives us for further stuff. So there is this account tab in the top left corner. If you go to that, we can see our wallet and also the balance that we have. Right now I lost lots of Sol for airdrops, but you should see something around 2 Solana or the amount that you got from the faucet itself. And there are also transaction history. Probably, since for those of you who have new wallets, there won't be any token accounts and any transaction history whatsoever. But you will be able to see something at the moment where we deploy the smart contract itself later. Okay, what do we have further? We have the clusters. So what we will use today is just a DevNet. We also have opportunities to change it to like localnet or testnet, or even add clusters. What this means, we have, as mentioned earlier today, we have different modes that we can use. So the DevNet is for developers who want to test their DApp or their smart contracts. Local testnet is if you want to have like really fast connectivity, you need to spend lots of Sol. You can spin up your own nodes, an own validator on your machine, which is not connected to the internet, and run everything locally. But for that, you would have to set it up, which is not the scope of today's project. Then there is this testnet. We also won't use a testnet. It's more for other kinds of developers. And we can also switch it in the top right corner. We are now in a DevNet. We can switch to local, but there will be an error because our RCP URL is the DevNet itself. So let's change to this one. And you can also add your own clusters, but probably it won't be needed for you in a while. So what we have here as well, we have the Super Team 101 program, and we already see there is a smart contract. So if you click on this link, it will forward you to the Explorer with the DevNet cluster. For me, it's loading quite some while. But what you should be able to see, yeah, maybe Solana is just restricting us at this point for all of the airdrops. But okay, there's some timeout error. Okay, so unfortunately, we won't be able to see it today, or maybe later. But what you would be seeing is this contract address that was created automatically. It's from the Solana Foundation. They already did it for us. And there are like lots of many different smart contracts created here. This is why I wanted to create your own one, how to set it up on your local device. Okay, for you, then it's maybe just for me. Okay, then if you don't have the problem, what you should be able to see is the Explorer, where you see that the smart contract was created, when it was created, and then all the transactions, the transaction history. But we don't have to look into that. What's the interesting part is now, how can we access the smart contract and where is it in code? So let's get back to the IDE that we have. In my case, it's cursor. And maybe from the file directly perspective, we can see here there is our project, Superteam 101. Then there is a source and an anchor file. So the source file is just basic stuff for Next.js, where we have the app itself with the layout. So how the app is structured, we see there is a links tab with account clusters in our program itself, which is this one. And then also all the components that come with it. But let's look first into the smart contract side. So it's in the anchor file. If you go to anchor, then programs, source, then lib.rs. This is where our contract is saved, or the development where the place where we can work with our smart contracts. So this is a Rust file, and it should, maybe you will see it all in white colors. You might have to install some extension on Rust. If you go to your marketplace here and hit like some Rust extension, then you should be able to see some sort of Rust. Yeah, it seems like I don't have internet connection for some reason. Do I? Okay, so that's not the issue. Okay, but if you are fortunate enough to see it, you can install some extensions to be able to see the code in color as I do. Since I already have the libraries installed, I just recommend to you to get it also set up for yourself. So it's just an easier and nicer developer experience. Now, I won't go too much into detail how Rust code or Solana smart contract is structured, but I can tell you how to interact with it, and then there might be some future workshops that teach you how to program in Rust. But here, for now, what we need to see is that we have this lib.rs, which is our main smart contract, and this public key. Now, from the people who come from Ethereum or EVM chains, this might seem weird that we have to create the public key before we deploy the code, because on Ethereum you create like the code itself and then deploy it, and you will get some public key back, so the address that you can target to. But in this case, we have to create our own public-private key pair. So the address is already created before deploy time. This is why we have to declare it here. And how we do it is we have basically used a similar structure that we use for our our wallets. So our wallets is also just a public and private key pair. The private key pair is in our ID JSON file. The public key pair is visible for everyone. Now we do the same thing, but we store the public key here in the declare ID, and the private key should be in the target IDL. Oh, no, not the IDL. Oh, okay, it will be created afterwards, I think. So, yeah, the first thing we should do is compile the code, and afterwards we will be able to change and deploy the contract ourselves. So let's open up a new terminal. Then we have to direct change the directory to first the project, how we called it, and then go to anchor, to the file where we have the anchor template, and now we can interact with our smart contracts. Now for the basic and currently only thing that we need is to build and compile our code. So this can be done by hitting anchor and then build. Now this might take some time, and we see it failed already, which is a fun thing. If you see the scaffold the first time, it might be hard to see what the problem is in the issue, but we just have to direct to cargo and then the log file. There, for some reason, the version is set to 4. But if you change it to 3, save it for yourself, then it should work. So again, it's in the anchor file. If you scroll down, there should be a cargo log and cargo toml file. Then in the cargo log file, there is a version equals 4. Change it to version 3. This should change the difference, make the difference, and work now. Then again, if you have done it afterwards, go to the terminal and hit anchor build, and then it should work for some magic reason. Just changing the version there. Now the building might take some time. If you do it the first time, it might be a couple of minutes as well. So just run it in the background, and hopefully you should see some similar output as you can see on in the front. If that's not the case, yeah. What is not found? But you have changed the cargo log file, right? It was on 3. Okay. You have to. What is your AVM version? So go to a new terminal, then hit AVM/version. And which one do you see? 3.1. Yeah, then we would have to change the version to 0.30.1. So I think the code for this would be AVM use and then 0.30.1. If you can try with this. So the code is AVM use 0.30.1. And then you should be using anchor version 0.30.1. Then to check it again, hit anchor -- version. So do you see your anchor version? Is your anchor version updated?
No.
Okay. Then we will wait a bit. Let's see what was your question?
I have the anchor command line, the 30 version, but what should I do for build?
Yeah, it's anchor build. Just those 2 words.
Anchor build, and I have to be in the anchor.
Yes, you have to be in the anchor directory. Yes. Mm-hmm. So let me know after you change the CLI if it works. Okay, then the next steps would be to go in your anchor file or in the anchor directory and hit anchor build. Hopefully then it should work. Okay, great, nice.
Mine is not working. It says build minus SPF does not exist.
So wait, do you get a file an error like this?
No.
So what does it say for you?
It says no such comment, build minus SPF.
But you're in the anchor file. So let's see. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the only thing that should be changed is the cargo log version. That should fix it. Yeah, maybe if you change the versions, then restart the terminal. Maybe then it should be fine. If that's a problem that only you have, I can also look into it later.
I put a warning that says that Solana was target was
So does it break the code or is it just a warning? Okay, yeah, I've also, if you, let me see.
Expect the configuration condition, but Solana, since it looks.
Okay, that's sometimes the case. You can also see here in the front, there's this derive accounts thing. So it's maybe it's a confusion thing for Solana itself because we don't use simple Rust, like the basic Rust version, but Anchor. And Anchor is a framework that does stuff differently in the background, so smart contracts look differently there. Maybe that's a thing. But it's just a warning. And again, it compiles down. So that's the thing that we should look into. So that's the only thing. If it compiles down and it looks similar in my screen as it looks on yours, then it will be fine. Okay, then again, I will go to Anchor. And we just build it, so we have the basic stuff done here right now. Now what we would have to do here is create a new key pair because we want to deploy the smart contract ourselves. So let me get this code for here. I will just copy it because it's longer. And I will also post it here on YouTube, so you can copy it from there. It's just a way of how to create a new key pair. So let me explain the code to you. So we saw that we can create the new private or wallets yourself, which is just Solana keygen and then new. And it will take directly the target address that is predefined. So the one for your own wallet. Now, because we want to do similar things, we want to create a new account, a public-private key pair. But now for our Rust smart contract, we want to use this line. And here we see the target, which from our Anchor file will go to target, then to deploy, to the deploy folder. And we see I have to change the name here. So the naming is not right for my case. Because for me it says Super Team 101 key pair. So here what it does is it will create the private key and save it in this file. Now here you can see this is how the private key looks like. You already seen it from your own wallet, but let's create a new one. Oh, and since it's a critical thing because we are overwriting our private keys, we have to hit the force tag at the end. So it forcefully overwrites the content. And you can see there is like some new numbers written down. This is the full private key that is needed for deployment. And in the command line, you should see a public key printed out for you. So let's take this one and copy it here. Let's actually first comment this one out. So I will take the older public key, right, and save it here. I will show to you why. You can also do the same, just to have it saved somewhere. And let's take the new public key pair and just replace it. And put it into declare ID. Now what happens here is this comment won't change anything. It's just skipped by the compiler, so we don't have to take care of this. Make sure to save the file so the changes are done in the smart contract itself. Are you all on the same page? Could you create this public-private key pair and write it in your smart contract? Oh, you're still in Anchor build. Okay. Then we will wait a bit. And then I can also just make it like oftentimes, so I don't have to use this key that I just generated. I can also just hit this again, and I get a new key pair. So it's really not necessary right now to have like a fixed key pair. We can always change it. So now the private key that I showed you is a different one. So now you won't be able to access it.
So if the actual build is run, what do we have to name?
Okay, did it finish for you? Did it? We should do it after it's done building.
What should I do? Now it seems to be activated, but
Okay. So once it compiles, then there is this one line we should do. So it always will depend on the file that you've created. But I can also wait for some other people who are also building it. And after it's compiled down, I can repeat the process. Do we have some questions online? If we need Rust knowledge. No, you don't need Rust knowledge for this one. It's very basic. If it's working for version 4, it should be fine to keep it as is. Oh yeah, because your AVM version is also 3.1. So maybe that's the case for people who it compiles directly. That should be fine. So maybe just my AVM version is outdated. That's why I have to change to version 3. Great. And I think that's, we already went through. Okay, how is the process looking with the compiling? Okay. Then we will wait a bit more. It's just what? Is it a warning or is it a critical issue? Okay, yeah, if you have any warnings or information, then it might come from the Anchor CLI or like the Anchor framework. So we don't have to care about it. If it's work without an interruption, then it's all fine. All right. So did it compile for the other people? Oh, which version do you have for AVM? So try 3.1, yeah, exactly. So if it does not work for you, then hit the command avm use, there it is, avm use and then 0.30.1. This should install the earlier version, and it then should make it possible for you. It probably will download something, but the AVM does not work. But you have cargo, so cargo version shows something for you. But just the AVM use does not work. Do you have AVM? So can you check for AVM version? So if just fixing it by AVM use 0.301 does not work, then I will look into it later.
using the AVM use, using the version 30,
Mm-hmm.
and it says now using Anchor version 30, but then whenever I ask that version again, it shows me the latest one.
The 31?
Yeah.
I see. But did it compile for you at least? So if it compiles for you and you don't have issues, then it should be fine.
How can I check it?
It's Anchor and then minus version.
Yeah, that is
Okay. So if you don't have,
Goes to the anchor CLI 30,
mhm.
0.30.4.
Yeah, that's great. So you have the same thing as I have. Everything seems to work. All right. And for the other people, could you run the anchor build? Yeah, did it work? Okay. Okay, then let's go again. How to create your own key. So we are here in the directory of anchor. Then we use the same generation key for Solana minus keygen and then new for initializing the new key generation. Then the -o flag. And now let's go through the directory we have. We have in anchor, there is a target file. So type down target, then /deploy, because it's inside the target file, inside the deploy file. And there, depending on the name that you've chosen, in my case, it's superteam 101. There is a file called superteam101-key. So you would have to write it as well, .json, to know, for the program to know where to save your private key. Then I wrote no bit39 passphrase, so it does not ask for my verification every time I do it. And since there is a file already there with a private key, I will just override it. So I give the flag --force. If you run this one, then there is a new key pair installed. So let's take this public key pair and override it here. And we have to save this file. Now what we've done is we have created a new public-private key pair, and for it to be able to deploy it on the testnet now, or like on the devnet that we use, we would have to build anchor again. Because now we have a new key pair and we need like new directories for the code to be deployed. So hit anchor build again, and it will compile, show some errors most likely, but this process should be shorter done. So now what we've done is a new smart contract, or like the same smart contract, but with a new address. And then finally we can deploy it. So let's look into how to do it. We can deploy it by running anchor deploy. And then provider cluster devnet. So what this specifies it, the place where we want to deploy it to. Fortunately enough, we also already have our wallet configs in Solana set to the devnet. So it should already streamline and work properly for us. So let's hit this command and see what happens. So what actually happens is it deploys it directly to the devnet. So it puts it online already on chain. And it takes some Solana from our wallet to pay for the transaction fees. There's usually also rent. What you have to pay here is the rent for the smart contract to be there. Now, the public key that we can search for should be the one that we declared because we just assigned it to it. So copy the program ID and let's get back to Chrome or like to your browser. Now we see there is here this key that we have, the older ones, but now we can search in the Explorer with our copied key, so the new address that we've deployed. And there it is. We have successfully deployed our smart contract on-chain. So this is, yeah?
Could you show the command again that you used?
Sure, yeah. So the command was anchor deploy --provider.cluster devnet.
So, yeah, before that, what we have done,
1 second.
once you change file B,
So I sent it to YouTube. You should be able to see it now. So what is the question?
Well, yeah, once you change the declare ID,
Mhm.
what you have done, what command did you run?
Afterwards, I've run anchor build again. So first we have to build the contracts again.
Did you move it to a specific directory for that? Or?
I'm in the anchor directory, in the anchor base directory.
So when you do it, you create your key pair, then you get a public key, you use the public key for your smart contract, then you build it again.
Yep. And then we deploy it.
And then we deploy it.
So after we've built it successfully, we can deploy it on chain. And hopefully, if you see the same thing as I do, and you only deploy it once, because if you would have only 2 Solana, then you might be able to deploy it twice, probably. But in once should be enough for a demonstration purpose. So you have run this command line and it didn't work?
No, it failed. Unable to open program file. Switch to the anchor directly.
So have you deployed, have you a new key pair? So the build file is working for just the deployment is not, right?
Yeah.
Can you check if you have like a balance on your wallet?
Yeah.
Maybe that, okay. And if you go on Solana get config, config get, what do you see if you go to Solana config get? Because maybe there might be some RPC URL problems. You should see api.devnet.solana.com. Okay, so you are on the right devnet, and you have balance on your wallet. So,
From the Solana key gen,
mhm.
I got a public key.
Yeah.
I copied this public key into the declare ID in that run.
So what is the command that you used for creating the key pair? Because this might vary from the name that you've chosen.
Yeah, it's actually the same name, so it's Super T 101.
Uh-huh.
Keygen U -O target / deploy / Super T 101.
Mm-hmm.
And
But it should be like minus key pair.json. So if you look on the screen,
minus keeper.json. Yeah.
is it the same thing that you used there? And okay, can you maybe open up the JSON file that you have, and then have this command ready. Look on the numbers if they change if you deploy it, because that might be some issue with maybe some typo or something like this. So for me, you saw the second number changed. So let's run it again. So for me, the numbers should change. If you see the same thing, let me know. If it does not change, then there is some other issue.
So what are you running? What command is that?
It's the anchor keygen. Is the keeper changing for you?
Yeah.
Okay, so then you've created a new key pair. You have the new public key there. But the issue is that you cannot deploy it. Then I will have to look into it later. But did any of you successfully deploy the smart contract? You have, okay. Anyone else? Okay, nice. Then for those of you who have created it successfully, you should be able to see it on the Explorer. And we won't get too much into detail here, but what we see is you have the upgrade authority, which is the person or the wallet who has deployed the key, and I've done it with my own wallet. and also the address. We only have the initialize transaction because we've just uploaded and we didn't interact with it. Now, how can we change it in our interface? Because here we still have the old key. Now, what we've done is we know the older key, we can copy it, and fortunately just search for the key, and it is in 3 places in our code. What we just simply do, because we don't want to go into detail there how to change it, just replace every part where the old key was written to the new one. So here in the anchor file, we want to replace it, and in the front-end file, we want to replace it. Now let's save this there, and we should see after a refresh that right now we have the new deployed contract address here. So this is how we can connect it to our front end. And maybe at this point, we could make a break. Carlo, what do you think? Because I had some plans left for deploying everything here again on Versal. And in the meantime, if you have some questions and problems with deploying, you can reach out to me. I can help you out. And then we can go into the next steps, how to have this code run on our on the internet, basically.
Yeah, we can also, like, I think later we have the plans to go to one session.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect.
All right, is there any questions before we go into the break? Or you can also go like in the break, I guess. But
Yeah, just come to me. I will be here in the front. So if we have some problems here and there, I will help you and try to fix it. Okay, for the online audience, we will be back in roughly an hour, I'd say. So keep there. And there will be a new link. So the best way, either be on X or on our YouTube channel, we will have a new link put up there. See you then.